You know, they say Warner Bros. Executives may have cut out 22 minutes of screen time from Stanley Kubrick's 1999 film, Eyes Wide Shut. That I'm not entirely sure of, but there is one thing I am sure of, and those are the differences between the Honda Prologue Touring and Elite. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all of them. Before we start today's video, my name is Andrew Lambrecht. I'm a project engineer here at Ever, and I'm also a contributor at Inside EVs and Business Insider covering electric cars. If you're new to the brand, we are Ever, America's largest independent EV store. We have an inventory of several hundred used electric vehicles, and if you're looking at selling your current EV, visit evercars.com to get a cash offer within minutes. That is evercars.com. No haggling, no pressure. Now, let's explore the Honda Prologue Touring and Elite. All right, the first category we're going to talk about is pricing, and the Honda Prologue Touring starts at $53,195, and that is the Touring front-wheel drive. If you want to upgrade to all-wheel drive, then the Honda Prologue Touring is $56 grand. If you'd prefer the Honda Prologue Elite, then a new one runs $59,395. However, you get all-wheel drive as standard. So the effective cost to go from a Touring all-wheel drive to an Elite is $3,400. But the thing is, I probably wouldn't buy a new Honda Prologue because depreciation has been pretty steep. In fact, I would just go ahead and buy a used one. And I'm standing next to two used 2024 Honda Prologues, and these prices are getting pretty good. So Tourings with low miles, I'm talking under 15,000 miles, tend to go for around $25,000 on the secondhand market, whereas Elites hover at around $30,000. So there's roughly a $5,000 difference between the Touring and the Elite on the secondhand market. Next up is the powertrain, and if you ignore the drivetrain of the vehicles, so if it's front or all-wheel drive, there are no changes between the 2024, 2025, and 2026 Honda Prologue, nor are there changes between the Touring and the Elite. All these vehicles are based on the Ultium platform and feature an 85 kilowatt-hour battery. Interestingly, however, there are some software-based changes on the 2025 and newer Honda Prologues, as those have more unlocked battery capacity and the electric motors have slightly more horsepower. So 2024 Honda Prologues, if you get a front-wheel drive Touring, then you are at 212 horsepower, and then if you get an Elite or a Touring all-wheel drive, then your horsepower number is up to 288. 2025 and newer model years get 220 horsepower in the Touring, so 8 more horsepower. And then if you get an all-wheel drive, your horsepower is then at 300, so there's a 12 horsepower boost from 2024 to 2025. Oh, and as for range, the 2024 model year Touring front-wheel drive gets 296 miles of range, the Touring all-wheel drive gets 281 miles, and the Elite will get 273 miles. On the 2025 model year, you get 308 miles of range on the Touring front-wheel drive, 294 miles in the Touring all-wheel drive, and 283 miles in the Elite. The Elites get a slight range penalty over the Touring all-wheel drives because of the larger 21-inch alloy wheels. In terms of exterior differences, there's really not much differentiating the Touring and the Elite. One of the big things is the Elite gets the 21-inch alloy wheels, which has some more presence, and we also get black door handles on the sides. Around back, we get an Elite badge, but that's about it when it comes to exterior changes. On the inside, both the Honda Prologue Touring and Elite offer a massive panoramic glass roof, leather seats, 2 AC vents, and 2 USB-C ports. These seats are very spacious. We got lots of room back here. But in terms of the Touring and Elite, we have a lot of similarities from the get-go. The Elite adds on perforated rear seats, and we also get a 120-volt power outlet located at the bottom of the rear center console. Up front, the seats are power adjustable, heated, and the driver's seat has memory functionality. We also get a Bose audio system, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, ambient lighting, and a wireless phone charger. All Honda Prologues, regardless of trim, get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Up front, the Honda Prologue Elite adds on folding side view mirrors, a heated steering wheel, ventilated front seats, and we also get extended ambient lighting. So now we get the ambient lighting that not only goes across the dashboard, but now we get it in the doors and in the cup holders. The Elite also gets a head-up display so you can see your speed and other vital information while you're driving. On the safety front, the Honda Prologue Touring gets a blind spot monitor, front and rear parking sensors, a backup camera, adaptive cruise control, and lane keep assist. So if you steer out of the lane on the highway, this system will steer you back in. On the safety front, the Prologue Elite adds on rear pedestrian alert, so it will let you know if there's someone behind you when you're backing up. And then we also get the surround view camera, so we get a 360 bird's eye view of your car when you're maneuvering in parking lots. Finally, we have the driving experience, and this is virtually the same from the Touring, especially the Touring all-wheel drive, to the Elite. There are only two differences, and those are the ride quality. The ride quality in the Elite is going to be slightly diminished compared to the Touring, just because we have larger wheels. And then the second thing is sport mode. The Elite gets sport mode. It doesn't directly improve performance, but you will just have a slightly more responsive accelerator pedal in sport mode in the Elite, whereas the Touring doesn't have that option. And that's our Honda Prologue comparison. We have the Touring and the Elite. On the used market, it's around a $5,000 difference. Now, obviously, we're referring to only lower mile examples, so you might be able to find two that are a little bit closer in price, but the Elites are generally a little more expensive than the Tourings. But looking at this objectively, the Touring is a pretty good value itself. You get leather seats, Bose audio, panoramic opening glass sunroof, and you have the exact same powertrain that you get in the Elite. But for me, there's a lot I appreciate about the Elite, like the sportier 21-inch wheels, the ventilated front seats, and the heated steering wheel. I feel like most buyers will be content with the Touring, as it has a pretty solid options list as it is, but some buyers will definitely appreciate some of the little things you get in the Elite, like the ventilated seats, especially if you live in a hot climate.